Hello, and thank you for watching my video. Welcome to episode 8 of my leveling challenge, which is completing LORNAR'S PASS. So LORNAR'S PASS is actually a map from Guild Wars 1. It's one of those few maps that actually keeps the same name. Although in Guild Wars 1 it was actually a much smaller map. And in Guild Wars 1 the part it played was you could go from a low level area to an actual high level area, which was a city called Drachma's Forge, and you had to go through LORNAR'S PASS and 2 other maps. And this will be where you'd have a lot of runners or players that were experienced and could take low level characters for a fee through to Drachma's Forge, where they could buy a much more impressive armor and get ahead in the game. So that's a little bit about the history of Guild Wars 1. This zone actually does occupy the same area because there are certain landmarks that we will go through and we'll find, but we'll come to those a little bit later. So let's talk about what the situation is. As you can see here, we're approaching level 30, which is where the next storyline actually takes place. Every 10 levels you get a new storyline, and so this main objective of this map is to, as you can see there, we've actually got to level 30 and the personal story's been unlocked. We actually have traits as well, I think we received. But yeah, so we're doing this heart quest at the moment. This is the Skrit tunnel area where we have to kill off a load of Skrit or sort of stop them from mining. As you can see, there's an event going on and I'm trying to do the event, which is a little bit tricky on my own. Bear in mind I am just about right level to do this. You can see I'm really struggling against these damn Skrit. But the whole point of this map will be to complete this, and then we're going to go and do some personal story. But this is actually one of the harder, it's one of the longer maps to do in Guild Wars 2. And as you can see, we've completed that event, we've completed that heart quest, and so we get the Vista, which first time I tried that, it was a lot. I think initially in the game it was a hard Vista to do. It's very, very easy now. You can see we're actually going to look and talk to these heart vendors once we've completed them to actually see if we can get any different new armor or weapons that we can use later. So we're progressing on, and LORNAR'S PASS actually, I believe, has one of the most amount of points of interest compared to any other map in Guild Wars 2. So here we go, you can see here, I'm actually having a look at what we can, what my traits are. So we were actually getting into the trait line now. This is obviously going to be redone when the specializations come out. The whole trait system, I feel, going the way it is now in-game, I don't think it's too, it's not too exciting. As you can see, we've got another event which is really going to help us with our XP. But yeah, the traits, I think if they come out like that in launch, and I think if they'd been account bound, it would have been a much more, enjoyable system, because you actually had to go and experience all those to get unlocked traits for the first time. But the fact that every alternate character you've got to go and do so many different things, it really is a pain to get unlocked traits, and I'm glad they're going to be changing how it's going to be done. So you can see here we're progressing in. We'll get this quick skill point. This is just to read a book about the dredge. And that's an interesting thing as well. There are a number of different races in this map. You've got the dredge in the north, you've got the pirates in the south, you've got the steam creatures sort of to the west, central east, of the map. And yeah, we get a lot of different varieties of enemy in this game. And this is a fun little quest. This is where you mend some fences and you wake up some drunks, heal some Dodiacs. And I always like these wake up your drunks, because they do tend to be Norn quests, obviously. But you get a couple of, I think, Skrit get quite drunk as well. So as we're proceeding on, let's talk about how I'm finding the character. You'll see here I'm standing. I've got this bottle of elixir that does give me the speed boost. That's obviously pretty important for doing map completion. And I'm sticking with the bomb kit as we're doing a skill point here. But the bomb kit's pretty handy because I am doing mainly a condition damage engineer. That tends to be the best way to operate. It's very difficult with the skills they have. Perhaps this will change with the elite specializations, but to go as a melee character and sort of a pure damage like a Zerker engineer isn't too easy to do, isn't currently that effective compared to conditions. And that's where especially comes in play with the bomb kit. I have played, I probably might play around with the flamethrower and see if you can get some Zerker gear on, just to see how it goes. But we're progressing on into the dredge territory. You can see there's a lot of dredge around here. And I did struggle a little bit at some times, because it is a very vertical map. There's a lot of verticality in this, a lot of steep cliffs and steep falls you can do off the map. But yeah, generally, Lorna's Pass is one of those, you think about it, you think, oh, this is a long map to do. But it's actually an enjoyable map to get map completion from, because there is so much variety in this map. So as you can see, we're actually progressing pretty nicely amongst this heart quest. We're going to get this. This is a level 30 heart quest, so we're not actually too bad, like with the over-leveled areas. That will tend to happen towards the end, and you can see some of the loot we're getting sticks of butter. This is actually pretty handy to have. So as we're mining as well, I'm trying to get as much ore as possible, any set like sort of harvesting. I will try and do, but I'm not going to go out of my way to do it. So this is a interesting event that we get here. This event used to be bugged, even though like it doesn't really count too much for the actual heart quest that we have here. And the problem is that if you can see in the top left-hand corner of my minimap, that's where the vendor actually takes a lot of these. As you can see, I get locked in. But the defense plans, he doesn't actually really use. Like the problem. Sorry, let me rephrase. When I say he doesn't really use, if you notice here, we actually go outside of the zone in which we can actually get credit for this, and that I find a little bit irritating. The fact that we can do this. Normally with heart quests like this, you would actually get credit from the event. If there's an event going on in this heart quest area, you'll get a lot of rewards for it. You'll actually get progress towards your heart bar. So there you go. We've just handed in a load of stuff that's given us 50% already. I am a little bit under leveled. I'm level 30, but I don't have the full armor, spec, and weapons, so I am going to be struggling. We get obviously more experience from that quest we got there, but in this dredge suit, I'm pretty tanked up, so that's pretty handy to have. But Lorna's Pass, we actually do use this and do actually go through this map a lot. Pretty much every character will go through Lorna's Pass, and the reason being it's the headquarters of the German Priory in this zone. As you see, we're actually level 31, and we get a new rifle, which is pretty handy. And we got a shard as well, a sliver, a destroyer sliver. So as we progress on, let's talk about the German Priory. We do have the headquarters here. It's on the opposite side of the map, on the west side, and we're going to carry on trying to get over there eventually. But this is where we have the Temple of Grenth. This part of the map, this is where it's a big reference to Guild Wars 1, and it's one of only a handful of temples that are actually not in particular human areas. This is a Temple of Grenth that you could actually access the underworld in Guild Wars 1. But why is it out here? It's a very interesting that it's still out here on its own. Hasn't been destroyed like a number of other different temples that have. If you're thinking in an Ascalon, compared to Guild Wars 1, there are no human temples left. They're all been destroyed. Well, this statue still exists, so it's pretty interesting indeed. That hasn't really been referenced, and whether or not, if they decided to ever go to the underworld through Grenth temples, that might be an interesting way to actually get there. So we've got another event going on. This is also helping again. This is one of the events that does help towards the heart quest. If you notice, when we destroy these steam creatures, we do get credit, and it's this is what I like about these heart quests, that we can actually get a helping hand by doing events. We actually get credit for it in our heart quest. Again, you can see I'm really struggling with the rifle, for damage, but the bomb kit I use is pretty decent indeed, because of the particular skill 2, which is the fire bomb, and really does a lot of burning damage. So you can see just by this one event, we're actually pretty much going to get this heart quest sorted. I'm leaving that because there's little time left, and so that's that heart quest done. I'm sure whoever's left behind can finish that off. We've got another point of interest over here in the dredge mines. There's a lot of dredge about. And so we've looked at the dredge, and we've got the steam creatures. These are the two of the biggest, bigger enemies here. And you'll see me do something ridiculous. Look at that. I actually, if you go back and rewind that, I used skill 4, the knockback shot, the shot you do and you get a blast back for it, and I blasted myself off the top of the mountain. Oh, what an idiot. We've got some more steam creatures here. For those of you interested to where steam creatures actually come from, there's a lot of talk, a lot of sort of clues given to the personal story Season 2 that it was actually Scarlet who created steam creatures, which differs to those of you, if you watched fall off again, if you watch the human, if you do the Azura personal story where you create this alternate dimension and you fight a doppelganger of yourself, they does mention actually about the steam creatures. Correct me if I'm wrong, like, it's been a while since I've done that personal story, but yeah, in that sort of reality, they did eventually take over. We've got another event going on here. This is the Gruul and the Ice Elemental. This is a fun event to do. You get a lot of enemies here. I'm able to use my conditions to destroy it and defeat it. And we've got the Gruul to take out now. You can see we're progressing nicely. We're going to go towards the Derman Prairie, but we're almost up to 50% of the map completion. And this is a dangerous bit, especially if you're an engineer with that skill 4 on your rifle. You can get knocked off again. But I do like the variation in landscape. You know, there's many different layers, and not only that, we're still in the snow-covered peaks of the Lorna's Pass, but that's not where we're going to end up, and we'll come across probably the third biggest faction in this map, which will be the pirates. And there's a number of different pirates. I think there's a couple of different pirates or bandits. And again, I fall off and die. I'm really not having a great time doing this today. We got some skill points, and we have our elite is available. So what we're going to be trying to do, we don't have enough skill points because I used them all up beforehand, idiotically. And we're going to be trying to get enough skill points. I believe the elite comes in, you know, so I've said this is something new to me, as we want to get another skill point. This, just, I'm getting distracted a lot, but just for those of you who've not really done map completion in Lorna's Pass, there is a skill point that's by the Derman Priory. It's not the one in the Derman Priory. You'll notice when we come up on the minimap. But it is a pain to get to, and I have got lost a number of times trying to find out where this skill point is. And I will show you the easiest way to actually get to this skill point in this map. So you can see here we've got the waypoint, and we're going to go into the Derman Priory. So we're crossing the Priory Bridge. We've got Ogden's quarters down here. Ogden's Stone Healer. He was a NPC from Guild Wars 1. But if we're going to go up here, this is where you get to this skill point, and you must go in. It's a piece of food or meat that you grab in, or go in, grab it, and get out of there. And then there you go. You got the skill point. But yeah, so Ogden was a character in Guild Wars 1. He came in the Eye of the North. He was a hero, so he was a character that you could personalize and change the skill set. And yeah, so he's still in Guild Wars 2. And we come into the Derman Priory. So this is one of the Order's headquarters. And you get the big commune here, like the Order of the Whispers and the Vigil. And so we're moving on. So we've got we can sell a load of junk, get some Vista, and we'll pick up some gold that's been waiting for us, repair. So we're all sorted, we'll get the Vista here. And we've got to go underneath, we've got to go get a couple of points of interest. But also we have the Azura Gate back to Lion's Arch, which wasn't there originally. It came in when sort of Lion's Arch got attacked, and it's a handy way to get through from Lion's Arch into Lorna's Pass now. But we're carrying on, and we're going to try and get as much map completion as possible. But you can start to see, we're still in this snowy Norn area. It is going to start to, as we get to level 32, we get an unidentified die, and that's going to sell for at least 84 silver. Nice, handy way. But you can see we're starting to get into the temperate zone now, as we've got to defend the Doliacs and also kill off all these ice worms. This is a fun thing to do. But again, you can see I'm just using these bombs. Very easy to nuke down and cleave down these worms. But you can see we've got these ice mounds that we have to stomp down, and the worm sprouts up, and we've got to try and feed the Doliacs. And these events are quite nice, and much. I prefer this type of quest event compared to Guild Wars 1, which was a go from point A to point B. You might have to escort them, and it was just generic and pretty boring, really. At least this has got a bit of variety to the map. As we can see here, we've got a champion. This is a Frostmaw. This is a big champion worm. It's a group event, which means I can't do that by myself. So I'm not going to touch it. And here we go. We've left the snow-covered peaks of the Shiver Peaks into the... Well, we're going to be heading sort of to the I guess, the Maguma jungle. Well, it's not really Maguma jungle either. It's more crater-type environment. But, yeah, so we're getting down to that point where we'll head down and we'll get into Mount Maelstrom, and then we'll be on our way to Ore. But this is a fun event. We've got a lot of imps in there, so we can use some devices to actually fire at them. And then we've got another event going on. This is going to give us a lot of credit towards our heart quest, so make sure you're keeping an eye on that. And boom, there we go. That's a nice way to get a bit of extra XP as well from the event going on. But the idea is you take this weapon and you fire and you try and draw these imps into like the world, which you then kill, and then these little mini golems will go around and collect the essence, which we then use to summon imps, and that's what's the quest at the beginning of this map, beginning of this heart quest. Sorry, that was the event at the beginning of this heart quest. So you can see here we're actually coming up to a point that was actually pretty relevant in the personal story, the Living World, sorry, not the personal story, Living World Season 1. And that was to do with Scarlet. She created this giant marionette, which is actually still there now. It's now a Vista. And the giant marionette was destroyed by us. It was a big event where you had multiple lanes. It is actually, you can see some of the remnants of the actual design of this in the Silver Wastes, especially after the breach when you're doing the Vinewrath event. So you can see here, this is the marionette. We defeated this and got a lot of loot from it, and was a big event chain that was going on as part of the Living World. A really enjoyable event, actually. A lot of people enjoyed the marionette. It was tricky because you were in 5-man teams in like during different parts of it, and again we've got an event going on here. This is another destroyer event, so we'll be able to get a lot of credit for this. I'm actually a fair bit under leveled, but using turrets I can get a lot of hits off and manage to tag as many as I can to get me as much XP as possible. But yeah, the marionette was a fun event, and obviously we don't actually have the chance to play that anymore. Will we get the opportunity with Season 1 coming back? You know, we'll be able to play it again like you can with Season 2. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, and that's something that's going to be a issue for the developers. So this is the Lorna's Pass is pretty relevant for the storyline, particularly the Derman Priory, and we haven't actually decided what order we're going to join yet. But we're going around and we're into the dredge zone again. So obviously we've had the pirates, we've got the dredge, and the other one were the steam creatures. So the dredge are actually pretty prevalent throughout this map and completely all over the place. And for me, they are a bit of an annoying enemy. I don't like them too much. I think that they've just been, taken over the mantle. It's just that like they were suffered at the hands of the dredge the dredge suffered at the hands of the dwarves for a long time, particularly the Stone Summit, not general dwarves that we're actually allies with in the first game. And I think that it's been a little bit like, oh, they suffered so much repression, now they hate everybody. But yeah, that's my take on the dredge. I don't think they're fantastic enemies to fight. So yeah, we can see we're progressing down and further south, and we come across some Jotun along the way. We'll also have some Ettins to take out, and we've got this nice little vista that's a good way for us to level up to level 33. We'll get some new gear, but we'll salvage that, and we've got some gear that's going to be useful a little bit later on. But I actually think Lorna's Pass is one of the more beautiful maps out there. I don't think it's quite as nice as Timberline Falls, but the fact that you have so many different varieties, it's very vertical. You've got rises and falls, you've got bridges. It's a well-designed map, and I think even with all the points of interest, it's a really enjoyable map to go around. And it's something that I think it's one of those maps that a lot of players, when they're first into this game, will start to do, when they're just as they're leveling up in this zone. As you can see me looking around for things I might have missed, but yeah, I think as we come in, we've got this fun event. This is where the Quaggan's taken over the pirate mantle, and it's actually quite hard to complete this heart quest in one go when the Quaggan is in command, when Captain Silwash. But when you steal from the chest, these pirates, the Covington pirates, or whatever pirates they are, they will spawn an enemy that you have to kill. Okay, so this is one of the fun sort of things if you're helping out Pugwash. You've obviously got a vista and a skill point, so there's a lot of map completion around this area in particular. Obviously, you've got a point of interest as well. You get a lot of bags, which you actually get credit for the heart quest by picking up bags of goods. And as you can see there, we've got another heart quest completed. Hopefully, we'll have enough skill points soon to get the elite skill, which for the engineer will be the supply drop. It'll be the best sort of elite to get, really. Mortar is a bit too static. It really doesn't have that, you know, ability to go around and do map completion. You can see here I'm getting a bit of a hand here with another player. He's giving me a nice hand, getting some more credit, because again, if you look, I'm 4 levels lower than what I should be doing this. And this is where it gives you a bit more of a challenge, you know. As someone who's got so many alternate characters, some of these challenges have been really interesting to do. You can see here I'm actually going and collecting these dwarven artifacts from sand piles. This is for one of the events that you can see in the top right or in the bottom right in my minimap. And someone else is also doing this, so this should be pretty good to get this. More XP, more karma. And again, you'll see me shooting the occasional ambient creature. That is to try and get more weapon master sort of points to actually increase, particularly for the underwater weapons. I have been increasing it using the underwater method in one of my other videos, particularly to try and get weapons master. But generally, it is one of the harder. Underwater weapons are the hardest ones to get. Well, apart from the offhand things like focus and shield, for example. So you can see here we've got another point of interest. We're going to get that I think it's the last waypoint, and we also have a vista just next to it. The pirate snagged me. He hit me with torment and I couldn't run away. That is such a pain. Right near, right just by it. We have a few left to go, so we're going to go back, and we've got a little bit more to do. I think we've got a point of interest up here. Yes, there it is. So this is one of the more easterly parts of the Lorna's Pass. You can see Jotun's shoulders, I believe. And this is another heart quest as well. We've got the Jotun, but remember, you know, we are 5 levels now lower. Thank God I had that person helping me out. But these worms are fairly easy to take out, but the Jotun definitely aren't. I mean, it's a real struggle. We've got the reward for that dwarven artifact event that was going on. And you can see here, fortunately, having turrets is a real big hand, because even if you get down, the turrets can really help you out. And yeah, it's going quite well. We're going to take out some of these extra Jotuns. We've got the worm mounds. We've got a big ice worm here. He's going to do knockbacks and these big sort of freezes. Again, fortunate that I've got another player that's come along who's actually right for this zone. And you can see he's really cleaving down these enemies. So there we go. We've got the heart quest completed. And we're going to sort out the salvaging. And we are still 33. And this will be good for when we actually start doing the personal story, because we're going to be a few levels higher than that. As you can see here, we've got to go to this vista here, which is a dangerous trek. We've got to go past all these Ettins. We've got a runway. This is where, you know, having that speed boost comes in handy. I still don't have speedy kits. That's one of the things I need to get. The trait speedy kits will be a really big assistance for map completion. But we've got that vista, and we are progressing more back to the east, because we've still got to get that waypoint and that vista. I mean, at level 33, there's not much more that we can really do in regards to map completion, because I mean, at the level that we're at, we're still under-leveled for this area. You know, this is level 39, and we are level 33, or 34 now. We got, I'm going to go for the strength booster as well. So this is where you're going to start to see me struggle, and this is what Guild Wars 1 was a lot about. You know, it was very, very tough and challenging. And you'll see here, I've underestimated how strong some of these elementals are. Fortunately, with my conditions, I can rally pretty easily. But we've got these cores as well. So the cores actually do count towards that heart quest. Not too much though, but if you manage to just sort of sneak, interact with the event person, which is Venpa, and then just take a couple of steps back, you can still get credit for it. So if you watch here, we're going to get some cores. There we go. Oh, I'm really struggling. And he's going to... Oh, yep, they're going to come back and heal me. So you can see here, we've got 9 cores. We've got another elemental. So So we've got 10 cores, but we're out of range. So you can see me there. I just managed to work my way back in range. So that's what you should be aware of when you do events like this. You want to make sure you try and get as much credit as possible. So here we go. We've got these tough veterans to take out. I should be able to take some of them out, really. I mean, I've got enough condition damage here. With the confusion, the firebomb kit as well, it should really be able to take a lot of these down. You know, they're tough though. So there we go. We're going to res one of the Azura. Activate these sensors as well, the observers. And we're going to cleave down. I think I overestimated how many I could take out. These damn knockdowns are a real pain, and yeah, I'm dead. Oh, that was that was over exaggerated. I should not have done that. But you know what? I'm doing this for a bit of fun. You know, if I was to do it perfectly, it'd be a bit boring. And I know a lot of players aren't, perfect. So that's why I wanted to do this, to just try and show off and show me taking on more than I can handle, giving myself a challenge. What is the point in playing if I'm not getting challenged enough? There we go. So that's the heart quest done. So we got there we go. That's the event done as well. So we've got some boots. I'm going to actually have them for later. So there we go. That when I actually reach those levels. So we got the Vista and the waypoint. I believe that is it. See these damn pirates. This time I am not going to get caught by that damn torment. There we go. So I've cleansed already. He's still got me 5 stacks of torment. Oh, we'll just kill him. There we go. Here we go. So we're in 98% this last Vista, and that is it. And there we go. There's the Vista, and there's the 100% map completion. So let's get the rewards out. I'll head up to Gendaran Fields. Actually, I'm going to go and do some stuff there. We've got a trait as well, so that's nice and handy to get. But let's progress on. So we've got rifled barrels. So that is in the next trait line down. So that is what we're going to get the next time we have a trait. We're going to bring in rifled barrels, because that gives us that extra range from our rifle that we're going around using at the moment. Although I might switch to the pistol shield in a little while. But let's have a look at the rewards. So we got a Black Lion chest key. Fantastic. We've got some steel. And we got some light armor, which actually goes quite nicely here for just under 10 silver. And we got a jacket that we can put on ourselves, although it's exactly the same as this one. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this nice little tour of Lorna's Pass, our map completion. Hopefully you might take something away from it. Feel free to leave me any comments. If you think my rambling's been too much this time, let me know. But I will see you on the next video when we complete Harathi Hinterlands.